dialed in to Bucks and Brews, you might hear something you can use. Like tips on your cash or tips on the suds. You're gonna want to use the smarts of these stuff. Cause they know the brews, and they know the Bucks, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks. So listen up, cause shit's not funny. And save yourself some beer money. Bucks and Brews.
Bucks and
Bucks and Brews.
Bucks and Brews.
Welcome back to Bucks and Brews. We got a packed show again this week, but before we get to that, Mike, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking. I'm going back to the supporting the hometown a little bit of Plainwell, Michigan. I'm drinking some different options from Old Mill Brew Pub and Grill. I bought a growler of, even though when it was labeled, they labeled it as stout. It is the Milli Vanilli Vanilla Porter. I also have a can of their Crazy Beaver, which is a cream stout, or not cream stout, cream ale. And if I need it, I'll use one of my old, standbys of like Collective Arts Jam Up the Mash Dry Hop Sour.
Oh, there you go. I kind of want one of those now.
There's one in there.
Oh, I say.
What are you drinking, my friend?
You
are very excited this week.
I say this is my my brother sponsored me.
Yes,
because I'm a special little boy. Actually, this is from my neighbor, which
Really?
is hilarious to me. This is from my brother and my brother's coworker. So,
and where did these brews come from?
they're
Nick?
all from the same brewery, which is becoming one of my favorite breweries.
Yes.
Which we didn't know was a huge brewery.
Yes.
So from New Glarus Brewing Company in Wisconsin, I am drinking New Glarus Spotted Cow. I'm going to start with that. I'll probably then go to my favorite or top three favorite beers, right? New Glarus Brewing, Wisconsin Belgian Red, which is, gosh, just so good. And if I feel like, which we all know is going to happen, New Glarus Brewing Company Fat Squirrel. So,
Can you hand me something that's over there, by the way?
hand you
Yeah, that empty can.
this one.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by the difference
What-
between
what
what
were you
Fat
gonna say?
Squirrel and Spotted Cow are.
What were you going to say? Because you were looking at it.
I would say, it's really funny because the only difference really in the can is like the color around the top. That's brown. This is, and then the backside. But they both have the thumbprint on them for in the state or whatever print it might be. It looks like a thumb to me.
New Glarus, female owned.
It is, yes, female owned.
So
What is Beer Aficionado?
Yeah.
I'll give them a shout out because
yeah, they own Revolution Brewing
yeah,
in Chicago.
I started liking him on TikTok, and
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. So somebody posted about lagers or whatever being a man's drink, and then he's like, "No, top this lager female brewed, top
Yeah,
this lager
yeah.
female brewed, top this lager female." Like it was like hilarious to me. I was like, "Oh shit!"
So I also have the same number of beers as Nick, but I'm going all over the place.
Yeah,
So I'm starting from Dew Claw Brewing Company in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm starting with a Sweet Baby Jesus chocolate peanut butter porter, which I tasted and is okay. It's not the greatest, but it's okay.
Ooh.
I'll go with number 2 here, which is probably the last thing I'll drink, which is an Angry Orchard hard cider. Nothing wrong with it, but these next two are from 2 of my favorite breweries. One, Grand Armory, who gave us a very nice tour.
Fantastic tour. Can't wait to get back out there.
Mother Schmucker's Raspberry Ale, one of my favorites. And I have a feeling that will get mixed with another one of my favorites from Destel Brewery, Peanut Butter Porter. 'Cause
Yes.
who does not want a nice peanut butter and jelly tonight? The peanut butter porter from Destel is an American porter with peanut butter flavor, nutty, chocolatey, and smooth.
There we go.
Smooth.
I think it's been a long time since I've had raspberries like fresh.
Yeah.
And they were on sale, and
Mm-hmm.
I ate a container of it, right? Like a little 1 ounce container. And man, my wife was giving me crap because how excited I was like, "Oh, these are so good. They're like really, really good." And she's like, "I can't get over how excited you are about a raspberry." And I was like, "Yeah."
Quick shout out to all our listeners tonight. I see we got some people on, and that's great. If you have questions, let us know. Hi, Jess. I see you're on. We're going to get into the Russian invasion of Ukraine, talk about how that's going to affect the Russian economy and the ruble and the EU economy as well, and maybe even some of our economy. But first, I want to talk about last week's episode a little bit.
Yeah.
So hopefully people that have listened enjoyed it, because I know the three of us and Steve had just
Oh
a
my God.
freaking blast.
Yes.
Mike,
It was fun. It was one of the best times I've had this year.
Yeah.
Steve has called me no less than 5 times to say how much fun he had and how much fun Mike had and how much fun Caitlin had. It didn't seem to matter if you or I had any fun, Nick.
That's okay. But you and I did. We had a great time, right?
He is always great to talk to.
Those are the moments that I love, right? That's the moments I try to find and enjoy. And my wife gives me a bunch of crap because I'm constantly out meeting, but I'm like, that right there. Like I could do it for so long, and it doesn't happen often enough, so I don't ever take it for granted, right? I get so excited. Honestly, when we do our year-end review, we'll probably come back to that one as one of our
favorites. Yeah. Right? And Steve has told me he will come back anytime because of how much fun he had. He said he's not had that much fun in a long, long time.
Good.
And knowing Steve the way I do for as many years, I find it hard to believe because Steve has a lot of fun all the time.
Yeah.
So I take that as a huge compliment to us.
A man on the go, man. He
definitely is. Always doing something.
Right.
Nowadays, a lot of it's napping, but that's okay.
Say that happens, my man.
So since we've been together last, we now have a Russian invasion of Ukraine.
We do.
I would say I'm fucking annoyed over it. I'll go with fucking annoyed. For many, many reasons. Not least of which is people in the country we live in rooting for Putin and Russia.
Is there people actually doing that?
There are people that are doing that. Tucker Carlson is all over rooting for fucking Putin and Russia.
I watched a quick thing and somebody was talking about fucker
Carlson, yes.
And I was laughing. But I didn't realize that was an actual thing, that people were actually behind that. Like,
it's ridiculous. Well, I've read a lot on this, and it seems a lot of the Russian soldiers don't realize they're actually fighting a war.
Yeah.
They think this is a training exercise.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
Hey, let me mute.
Would you please?
All of a sudden I'm hearing me, and I was like, holy shit, there's two of me.
Mike's listening to us while we sit here. Anyways.
Fuck real time.
No shit.
Just trying to give you extra people.
I see. So anyways, so people are doing that. Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah. I enjoy the
we're back to beer, aren't we?
No, I enjoy the Americans that are standing behind Ukraine, and
Mm-hmm.
As sad as it is, like I hate war in general, right? Like I don't understand how this one's getting to where it's gotten. Because we're damned if we do and damned if we don't, right? One thing I do hate about this specifically is the amount of shit that Trump got for being friends with Putin and everybody just having an opinion. Like, really, do we have anything in general that should be talked about from us on this? Like, right, this is Ukraine and Russia. Yes, it's about what Ukraine's trying to do, but like, really, it should be about those people. Like, get that shit figured out.
So do you want to know why it matters to us?
I know it matters and like why, but like I'm saying the people shouldn't be talking about, oh, if this was Trump, it wouldn't have happened. If this was,
it would have happened no matter who it is. Putin is dead set. He's ex-KGB. He's dead set on regrouping the USSR. That's his only goal. And he doesn't give a shit who stands in his way or what it costs, because he's not going out there fighting.
Oh, I just heard, don't quote me, on the radio. I think I was listening to NPR, because that's what I'm an old man. Putin came out and said, if you have money in the bank, we're going to take it and use it to fight this war. Like,
he has absolutely told people he will seize their assets to pay for this.
Yeah. And so it's just like, holy shit. Like, we are a financial podcast, and you can't fucking plan for that.
You can't. No.
Right? Like,
one day you have money, and the next day they just say, well, this is ours now.
Right.
That's what pisses me off in this country about everybody going, oh, you're all communists or you're fascist or whatever. Listen, motherfuckers, nobody's taking your shit.
Right. I mean, they'll limit you on stupid stuff.
Right. But nobody's saying everything you own is now mine because I need to go pay for this war that I've decided is a good idea.
Right. Yeah. I say you have the opportunity to put your money where you feel like here. No, it's so frustrating.
Well, and looking at it, so you got Putin who's not fighting because he's a big pussy.
Sure.
And I'm going to bag on him because I like to. We have Cadet Bone Spurs here that doesn't know how to fight because he has bone spurs.
Private Poopy Pants.
And Private Poopy Pants, who also did not know how to fight because he had to shit his pants to get out of fighting. And then you have in the Ukraine, President Zelensky, who's a former actor and comedian, literally taking up arms,
and
along with the mayor of Kyiv, which is, I might get the brother wrong. I'm going to say it's Vladimir Klitschko, but it might be his brother.
Is it? Okay.
Either way, both are taking up arms.
Right, and I don't think they should. In general, sure, do what you got to do, but it's just like a business aspect of things. Like your smartest people of how to outsmart and how to do should be the safest until the last, right? I mean, fight when you have to, but you're not proving anything except for the fact that you die just the same. Where you should be giving out orders and hey, this is where I want you to be and stuff like that.
But to me, it shows how much it matters to them.
Correct.
Because to me, that's better than you would never see our leadership going to war. You would never see any of them.
No, it doesn't matter who it is.
Since
right.
basically the turn of the 19th century or 20th century.
Right. I completely agree. I mean,
and you were probably right the first time, since midway through the 18th or 19th century. Because it's not like Abraham Lincoln grabbed a gun and went to fight the South.
Right. You got, Washington standing there with his coat and a musket, right? I mean, but I get the representation of it, right? And it's weird because I only see different random videos and things. I joined back on my Snapchat. I'm okay. I have Snapchat, but I have like 2 people.
Yeah, I have Snapchat, but I haven't used it in like 8 years.
Yeah. So the reason
I don't have Snapchat.
You should get it. The reason I got Snapchat was because when we were gonna invade Area 51, you can go on and see the world. So I all of a sudden was like, oh man, I'm gonna see what's going on. So I went over to see what snaps are happening in Ukraine and things. So I follow that way. I really enjoy the story of the old woman who gave the Russian soldiers sunflower seeds.
Oh God, I love that story.
Like, put them in your pocket so that way when you die, the daisies come up and grow. Or when you're in the ground, I was like, holy shit balls! Like,
did you see the 13 Ukrainians that were on the island?
No.
So 13 Ukrainians are on an island off Ukraine.
Yeah.
And a Russian warship comes to the island. And they come over the loudspeaker and basically say, put down your weapons or we will fire on you.
Yeah.
And you can hear 2 of the Ukrainians talking to each other going, should I tell them to fuck off? And the other one goes, yeah. So he announces over the thing, fuck off. And then the Russian ship shoots and all 13 are dead. But they went out, they knew they were going to die, but they weren't going to surrender.
Okay.
And there was nothing they could do about it. And again, I mean, to me, that's bravery.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh,
or you get the what is it like? Is it distillery there that's going to stop brewing the vodka or whatever, and they're going to start making Molotov cocktails?
Correct.
They started doing that. That's crazy awesome.
Well, you know where the Molotov cocktail came? It did not come from Russia.
No, the mafia.
No, it actually came from countries that were fighting Russian invasion.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I say, and I enjoy watching a small country, especially honestly, they're gonna lose, right? As much as I want
they're
them
totally
to win,
gonna lose.
like you have a population of Michigan going against the rest of the United States, right? Like that's what it is, and the amount of money and the amount of resources they have.
Especially when they're just going to steal their own people's resources to make sure they have the resources.
Oh God, 100%. But one thing I like about it right now is that China wised up and they said, yeah, we're not funding you anymore. So, because it's scary to have 2 powerhouse go against us, right? And like
the problem I have with that is, okay, China's not going to fund it, but they're not standing against Russia either, which is what they should be doing. But of course, another communist nation that's not about to stand up That because ultimately they'd like to do the same thing to Taiwan.
Oh, of course. But, speaking of standing up, one of the greatest things, me being a pretty big soccer fan, I absolutely love the fact that FIFA said we will not be allowing Russia to participate. So your country, Poland, right? First,
I will tell you right now, I'm so happy of my ancestors in Poland.
Fan-fucking-tastic. So, guys, if you're listening still, Poland came out, and so they're going to qualify for the World Cup, right? And they said we will not face them. We'll take our chances to not even go into the World Cup soccer, right? And then other countries got Czech Republic was in there, and but that came later, Switzerland, I think. But yeah, so they came out, and then it became this big thing, and FIFA came out and said, nope, F you, we're not allowing you in. And I was like, that is because, and people go, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a sport.
This
is the
huge
world
deal.
fucking sport.
Yes.
And this is World Cup soccer. Like it's like the Olympics on crack, right? Because the Olympics has games that people don't really care about.
Curling.
Soccer, right? Like you care about curling when it's
I care about curling.
Yes, once every 4 years, right? Like
Yes.
name another time you watched it.
We were on a podcast, Dawn and I,
Yeah.
and one of the hosts is like, oh my God, I love curling. And everybody else is like, why the fuck would you watch curling? Anyways.
I don't want to watch other people. I like watching it because it's the U.S. and I'm very proud of us.
It's like shuffleboard with much bigger things on ice.
Yeah. So while you're talking about my countrymen, the Poles,
Yeah.
not only that, but they're accepting a lot of refugees from Ukraine because they share a border.
Mhm.
And they're not asking any questions. Like these people are showing up and they're just taking them into their houses.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll protect you. Come on. And I think, from a humanitarian standpoint, that is just awesome.
You know why the Poles are doing that? Because people did that to them during World War II.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
I mean,
Germany just walked right in and said, fuck you, it's mine now.
See,
Yep.
and what's really hard for me, I mean, so like we're so scared of cyber attacks, right? That's our big fear right now. From what Putin's trying to sit here and say.
That's a great segue, by the way, but go ahead.
So like what I'm saying is so we're at this point, and I'm
By the way, Jessica loves curling.
She does. I see that.
I'm a pretty frustrated person
Yeah.
with the war of what's going on. But I look at it, and honestly, once he said, hey, look, if Switzerland and Norway try to join NATO, right? Like he'll do the exact same thing to them. And it's like you just watch risk just start happening. It's like, man, somebody's got to stop them, right? I know we don't get along with everybody, but gosh dang, man, like, I don't know. We have what was it? It was 21 other countries below us have like they still don't even equal up to our military stance. So
At least, yeah.
we have more nukes and we have more everything than everybody else. So to me, I mean, gosh, let's go bomb the shit out of it, and all of a sudden Alaska's fucking huge.
Well, and part of the problem with that is Putin's got nukes.
He does,
And
as much as we
he's,
do.
he's threatening using the nukes,
Yeah.
which scares the shit out of everyone because he's crazy enough to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we sit there and we're like, all right, well, we have to tread lightly here. I heard a lot of people, especially, Ukrainian diplomats complaining about the State of the Union last night because they didn't feel Biden went hard enough on Russia. What are we expected to do if we say we're going to shoot that, 40-mile long convoy? We're starting World War III.
Mhm.
If we say we're sending troops, we're starting World War III. I realize we're not starting it. Putin has started it, but do we really want to engage in World War III, knowing what that's going to mean?
Mhm.
Because that's going to mean cities that are here right now won't be there tomorrow, because he's going to launch some nukes and we're going to launch some nukes. And I don't know about you guys, but we're close enough to Chicago that a nuke strike in Chicago probably fries our ass too.
Probably.
I don't know.
Do you want to
even
take
if
that chance?
Even if it doesn't necessarily fry, we're going to get a lot of the
Like
radiation
Michigan's
after
Michigan's
effect.
no more beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I get that. But I mean, it's still like it's not anything I want, right? There's just no way to change it, and that's the frustrating point. But like, honestly, like I don't. Everybody's just gonna call me a Biden person, or what is it Bidener called? Like it was a Trumper, or what? What are Biden people called? Just douchebags.
Your
No,
president.
they're just called people that didn't vote for fucking Trump.
So right, everybody's gonna call me that.
Is that a bad thing?
Honestly, if you sit here and you tell me that you've seized or you've stopped all assets and you literally will not allow any like trades and you've put tariffs. I mean, I thought first person, right? First person, and I still say it's a bad thing, right? So, and how do I prove that this is a bad thing, right? Look what fucking Biden did. He raised tariffs to a huge fucking amount of money, right? On for Russia, right? The tariffs that they're anything that we would
He put sanctions on them, yes.
100%. So the same thing that I had. Trump goes in, raises tariffs, and then we literally just stopped all their funding. We're like, yep, no, you can't do anything. Like it's a balls move.
It is a balls move. And you had talked about cyber a minute ago. So
Yeah.
I gotta say, I love the young millennials and the Zoomers because they aren't ready for anybody's bullshit. They don't want bullshit. So Anonymous went and hacked Russian propaganda.
Yep.
The Zoomers are all over it. I mean, they literally took over Russian TV and started playing the Ukraine national anthem, which I just think that's a baller move. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So I think that's where a lot of that's going to go. And you bring up the sanctions. So I know one of the main things that people are pushing for is to basically expel Russia from SWIFT. And we talked about this very briefly before we got on the air. And go ahead, Nick.
No, I say one thing I want to talk about because we're going to get into banking. So
Yes.
We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. A friend of mine texted me and was like, hey, it's now the time to invest in this bank, right? And I was like, well, it's fucking lowest, isn't it? Right. So we'll talk about that here once we're done with this.
So SWIFT, for those of you that do not know, is the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. I had to pull that up. Basically, Nick is opening a bottle right now with our nice bottle openers.
And if you find me on the streets and you ask me for a bottle opener, if I have one on me, it's definitely yours.
There you go. So basically what SWIFT does is they help process payments and money for many countries. So they're used in over 200 countries. There are 11,000 member banks in 200 countries and territories. And the system itself, as of February 22, sent 82 million messages.
Yeah.
So if you are working on a world scale as a country, you're using SWIFT.
Yep.
If the access to that is cut off from you as a country, it's going to be very hard to move your money around.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of the things that's happening right now with Russia. If that is fully done. Now, there are some countries that basically said, no, we're done with this, but it hasn't fully been enacted yet. Hopefully it is, because how do we get this done? We hit him where it hurts with the money. And yeah, he can go take everybody's money, but eventually, I don't know about you, Nick, but if I say, Nick, I'm taking all your fucking money.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Just say, okay.
Yeah, it's. I mean, is it my life or is it just that you're trying to tell me? I mean, am I threatened in a physical
Well, I
way?
mean, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to threaten you. But I know you.
Then it's yours.
You're just going to hand it over.
Yeah.
Because I know you. You have guns.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'll fight for it. But I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're just going to physically, like, if you're going to take it out of my bank account, there's nothing I can do. I mean,
Yeah, I'm saying it.
granted, I mean, honestly, well, they limited it to $20 withdrawals right now, right? So you're really just effed. I don't know how to put like stops on it, right? Like, I don't know. It's hard because I don't know. If you're gonna make me the poorest person after all I've done, I mean, I'm probably fleeing the country.
Yeah.
Like
You're
even-
going to find a way to get out with your money.
right? Like
Mhm.
as even as like a soldier. It's like,
Well,
man,
You know, you look at these rich Russians.
Yep.
So they knew this was coming.
oh yeah,
I mean, he's been talking about this for a while. I'm going to pretend for a minute you're one of these multi-billionaires in Russia, Nick.
oh yeah.
You know this is coming.
Mhm.
Is your money anywhere he can get at?
No,
Why?
because this possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Like, sure, I lost money when the ruble became $1.34.
So-
it went down. What was it? 100.
I have the numbers. You keep talking, I'll find it.
138%. But right. So like when you look at it,
The ruble dropped 30% in one day.
in one day, right?
In
But
one
like
day.
in total, it dropped like 130% of its full asset or something. Like, it's crazy like how much this thing is going away. Again, the banks made it so that people can only take like $20 out of the bank at a time. You
Well, and one of the things
can't buy shit.
in the State of the Union last night that Biden brought up was inflation.
Oh yeah.
How are we going to battle inflation? We could either make everybody poor or we could lower prices on things, which,
Is
when
gonna happen.
well, it should happen because I mean, we look at a lot of these companies and they're making record profits. Okay.
Yeah.
But what did they do in Russia? They hiked interest rates 20%.
Which is what we need to do.
We do need to hike interest rates, but would you hike them 20%?
No,
And here's a question for you, because we have all these conservatives bitching and moaning about Biden not doing anything about inflation. Nick, how do you raise interest rates? Who is in charge of that? Do you know?
the reserves.
Yeah, the Federal
I guess.
Reserve.
So,
Who is in charge of the Federal Reserve right now? Do you know?
no,
You know why you don't know?
because nobody
Because
knows.
nobody is, because they won't fucking confirm anybody to run the Federal Reserve. So
Right.
how exactly are we going to battle inflation when the person that's supposed to battle inflation can't get confirmed by the fucking Senate?
Yep. Well, and we're in a spot that I don't think founding fathers seen, right? Because it was supposed to be a thing of checks and balances. Don't get me wrong. I still think Brett Kavanaugh is the biggest piece of shit to ever walk this planet Earth, right?
He likes beer.
Right. It's crazy. But what I will say is he did his thing. They got him through. It's whatever. Now it's our turn to, I say our, like I'm a fucking Democrat.
That's the worst part, isn't it? We have to be Democrats.
Right. Like we're trying to push this through and it's just everything is fought. And everybody's gonna go, oh, Trump did this. And it's like, you know what? And one thing I gave credit. Go back to our old episodes. What did I tell you? Right? Trump signed executive order after executive order of like, boom, fuck this. Like, we'll deal with the punishment later. Because honestly, you can't punish a president, right?
No,
like you can get impeached, which
he did twice.
every president's been impeached.
No,
like,
they have not.
Well, they have potential to get impeached, right? Like
Anybody has the potential to get impeached, but it's not. The last time somebody was impeached was Clinton.
Right.
So you've had 3 impeachments in your lifetime, the same number I've had.
Right.
And 2 of them were in the last 3 years.
And that's where it's all headed, though. It's like, let's impeach. It's all right. Like,
But you have to have a reason to impeach.
Correct.
What was the first impeachment over?
For Monica?
No, I'm not talking Clinton. I'm talking Trump. What was Trump's first
Colluding
impeachment
with
over?
Russia.
Yeah.
Colluding with Russia to do what? Withhold aid from Ukraine.
Yeah. Huh.
And here we are.
But, one thing, I will say is that I'm getting frustrated by the fact that Americans can't see something has to happen, right? And it's not that left has to give and right has to give. It's that you got to start opening your ears and listening. That the fact that one little thing sets you off when the person can be like the greatest. Again, you guys are the closest. Well, you were more Democratic than
Yes.
the other people I hang around with, right? I hang out with a lot of very Republican people. Like,
Mhm.
what do? We sit, we drink beer, we talk. How's the family? Like the generic things, we know what sets us off, right? Like, oh, I don't like the gays. Can I not be friends because you don't like gays? No, like we don't talk about it. I don't care about your goddamn opinion. We're not best friends. That's fact, right? Like,
well, and that's where it goes to. So, you have these people on the right side of the aisle and they're like, well, I don't understand why we can't have a difference of opinion. There are certain things we can have a difference of opinion on.
Mhm.
Okay. There are certain things we cannot.
Mhm.
If you don't like the gays and you're going to tell me about it, we're not friends. We're just not fucking friends. We don't need to be friends. I don't need to know you.
Yep.
It's perfectly fine. Go along your merry little fucking way and don't come across me again. Same thing if you don't like people of color. I mean, I am half of a person of color, but if you don't like people of color, just go on your merry fucking way and don't bother me again.
right. you know, if you have a problem with a person for
What they look like or who they love.
right, like sure, okay. So like my big issue with Democrats, you hate me because I have done successful with my life, right? And I care about you as a fucking person.
Yeah, but that's not true.
And that, like most Democrats, like they're
Bullshit.
I mean, look at the TikToks that are out there, right? Oh, you're rich, you're blah blah blah, and dude, the amount and you see it from a different side, right? Like you
I
see
definitely see it from a different side.
but like the amount, oh, hey, rich people shouldn't have this. We have this fight on a constant basis. Like I don't hate because of this, right? Like
There's plenty of rich Democrats out there.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
sorry, all these people who are in Congress or other big political places are filthy rich.
Yes.
oh yeah, I mean,
I said, there's no more, growing up in a log cabin and becoming president of the United States.
don't you wish? I
It
mean,
would be nice.
yeah, I thought about it because I was like, I want to run for something in my city because I want to make an impact, right? And I'm getting to that point, but there's zero fucking chances I could do it.
You can't win
Do you know why?
because you're honest.
That and like the way, like if somebody went onto my Facebook and said, "Oh, he told somebody to go fuck themselves," straight
You-
point blank,
You'd go, yep.
I'd be lynched.
But again,
Be lynched.
you wouldn't be lynched. But
Oh my god! Like everybody would just
They
like,
would be
he's the
pissed.
biggest piece of shit in the world, and I'd be like, "Yep."
well, again, my therapist tells me all the time, I think you should run for something. I'm like, I can't win. I can't win
Zero chances.
because I'm honest and I'm not going to sugarcoat a fucking thing. I started, mind you, we have listeners at my job. I started looking at jobs the other day
Oh,
because I want more money. And Dawn goes,
you're finishing school.
I'm almost done with school. And Dawn goes, is this really the right time? I'm like, yeah, this is the right time. Mind you, if they go to my Twitter account,
Mhm.
nobody's fucking hiring me. Because all I do is blast people on my fucking Twitter account. They're stupid.
And the problem is right now, they can look at every
Everything.
social media out there that you have.
And honestly, if they're going to look at that and judge me on that, I'm fine with not working for a company like that. I don't really give a shit anymore.
Mhm.
I'm too old to care. I've gotten to that point.
I get that, but you also, so like I will say that then don't bitch about not making more money for a company that you would want to work for. Like right now, we have some vacancies, right?
Yep.
And Jesus Christ, the amount of people that hit me up on Facebook, like I don't even know, right? Like,
Well, you have a lot of people that hit you up and they don't necessarily want to actually do the job.
well, I'm saying the job, but like to actually rent, right? Like your name
Oh,
is
that too, yeah.
your name is Smokey McSmokerson, get fucking drunk all day, and then I check it out and like you're flipping off the camera and you're just holding a bag of weed. Nah, dog, I'm gonna pass on that. Like,
I can't imagine why.
thanks, but like, right, but like people, oh, why you judging, man? Maybe they're great people. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take my 1% chance and just I'm gonna head that way, right? Like, 50-50 is hell. But like, do I judge you off of what your Facebook is? Yes, because
Yeah.
I need to.
It's what
right?
you have.
Like. I like my property, and yes, you have potential to, but like
You have to use whatever information is there to
That's
tell
exactly
you what somebody
kind
is
of a
about.
person this person is, right?
So
Like,
I mean, when
so here's a hold on, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
True fucking story.
Yeah.
Okay. Tenant hits me, or prospective tenant hits me up. Hey, I'm looking for a place. And so I'm like, yep, it's available. I go through and I'm pretty sure they said like, do you accept Section 8? But I don't want to be but I'm going through their Facebook, right? Now it says 2 days ago, there's a key, a picture of a key, and it says, "Oh, so proud, got my own place now," and blah blah blah. And I was like, the fuck? Like I want like it took all of me not to take a screenshot of that, right?
Yeah.
And send it back and be like, huh?
It looks like you're good, dude.
Right, like I'm behind, dog. Like, no, I'm gonna pass on that one. But and it's hard because like it's for a different company and different owners.
Yeah,
So like I can't, but like me, I want to be the asshole to just sit here and go, are you retarded? Like,
That's a bad word, by the way.
It
We don't
is.
use that.
You don't. I mean,
I don't use
hey,
that.
I
word.
asked my brother. He said it's okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yes.
so when we look at these things, we can't put people in those certain holds anymore. I mean, they don't really fit. So I know when I'm looking for an employee here at Break Room, if they're on the far right, they're not the right fit here
100%.
because, you know, here
Granted.
we very much care about people of color. We care about LGBTQ plus people. You know, one of the things that drives me crazy here. So, you know, we will have people come in and they will use a name that is not on their driver's license. Oh yeah, they'll sign their waiver with a name not on their driver's license. The one I remember, and I will remember until the day I die, Mike knows it. Strychnine Daybreak.
Strychnine Daybreak.
Strychnine Daybreak came in.
Yep.
If any of you know Strychnine Daybreak, they came into Break Room Therapy once.
Yep.
Very nice person.
Really nice person.
Dawn asked for the ID.
Actually, I think the thing was I was at the desk.
Did you ask for the ID?
And then I looked at Dawn. I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah. So their ID, their state issued ID, which was their driver's license, did not say Strychnine Daybreak.
It said John Smith.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. Yep.
Yeah.
Which, you know, many trans people refer to as their dead name.
Sure.
And Dawn looked at this person and goes, listen, I respect you and I will call you anything you want me to call you. But for the waiver, I need the name on your government issued ID. I know you don't like it. I know you don't want to use it, but
Yeah.
I have to have it for insurance purposes.
Yeah.
And Strychnine Daybreak looked at us and goes, I hate it, but I totally understand. So I will fill that out again.
Oh shit.
Any
Okay.
legal situation works that way. Strychnine Daybreak goes to jail. It's not going to be Strychnine Daybreak when it goes to court.
Right. It's going to be John Smith or Jane Doe or whatever.
Yeah, you can have your AKA. So I
You can have your AKA,
it
but when
took
they
me so
say
long.
the state versus blah,
Yes, it will. It took me so long to realize that I have an AKA. Right?
What's your AKA?
I'm Nick.
you are.
You are, yes.
Like my legal name is Nicholas.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it's every time I fill out a paper, I always have to figure out like, how do I, like when I do a bunch of real estate stuff, it's like, do you go by any other names? And I'm like, oh God, in theory, yes, I do. Like
Mhm.
I legally am, like I sign all my documents. So,
And I'm sure you're seeing it where you're at too. Like your daughter's now school age.
yeah,
You probably do field trips and other things with her. No, not
No,
yet,
we're
but maybe you will.
oh, I
as
can't
things
wait. That's what
there will be, each school will have, it's basically a clearance with the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
And they will do the same thing. They will say, what is your name?
Oh,
Are
yeah.
there any aliases?
Oh, I did that. Like I coached. I didn't
Yeah,
have to do it
yeah.
for you, did I?
You had to fill out a volunteer form, but
Sure,
it did
but
not
like-
list aliases. It was just like name and social.
Sure, but like when I say when I did it for Potter's House, right?
Yep.
Like it
Mhm.
was everything I've coached for and everything, like volunteering for all the youth camps that we used to do.
Mhm.
I mean, oh my gosh, like I think I check that as much as I check my credit. So last night we my wife randomly set up a date and we all went to the children's food basket,
Yes, kids food basket.
kids food basket. What a fun time.
Was it good?
No, I mean you work,
Right.
Mhm.
but
But fulfilling.
the idea behind it,
Yeah.
I mean it's cool.
We would do with the Cub Scout pack my kids used to be in. We would every once in a while go out to one of the food banks and help them like
Yeah.
shelve and, clear out stock. And
and it was it's I've never cut oranges for an hour and a half and not really given a shit that
Yeah.
I was working and not
Mhm.
getting paid, right? And it's funny because like you can tell everybody else there, like my wife works in medical, has no idea what a fucking factory is.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody else there has no idea what a factory is. And so they're like, and people are cutting and they think they're going quick and they're like, oh, I could do this. And I'm like, you'd be fired. like, hey, you're fucking talking and shut the fuck up. Like, start cutting. Like, go. Of course, me being me, I'm an outgoing person. I start screwing with everybody, making $20 bets of who can do the most and stuff like that. We of course finish the most because again, like if I'm working, I'm just here to work.
Right.
Like I'll screw around and have fun, but I'm so used to that type of labor
When you do, and I mean, when you're used to doing, like you said, like piecemeal type work,
Yep.
You get in a routine, like exactly how to do it in a routine fashion that makes you be more,
Oh yeah.
efficient with it.
And especially coming from like and my partner. So I was cutting the oranges and my brother was bagging, right? So my brother Sean, he's bagging. You put 3/4 into a bag, so like you push the other one. So I'm grouping all mine into threes.
Yeah.
He's all set up. The other person's just building this big old pile, and then he would, he'd be like, all right, his wife would bag, and he'd help go bag, and I'm like, oh, like this is how this works, like
Assembly line.
100%. And I'm, it's just fun to watch people not have any clue.
So we're going to get back on track in a second here, but I'm going to tell you, one of the most rewarding things I did sophomore year of college when I lived in Illinois, I was part of the sociology club, and we delivered Thanksgiving dinner for underprivileged people in Rockford, Illinois. And it was, I spent the entire day doing it with another classmate of mine. Her and I I drove because I had a huge ass truck. And
But you couldn't afford.
oh no, it was paid for. And we did that for, I don't know, 6-7 hours, 2 days before Thanksgiving. And it was one of the most rewarding things I did.
Yeah.
I always like those kind of things where, again, you're helping out less fortunate people versus, just a general like service project. Like, I always liked Habitat for Humanity. I did that a few times in college, helped, for me, it was always doing things like, using a staple gun to put up like insulation or stuff like that. Cause he didn't want me trying to like frame and things of that nature.
Thanks for the heads up. I want to ask.
No, you don't want me to frame.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up.
You need some insulation put in. You need some holes dug. I'm your man.
He said 26 on center. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Did he say measure once, cut twice, like somebody else here?
Hey, that's a factual statement. That's me, buddy. If it ships, baby. So, I'm excited for Russia to go poor. It's nothing against the Russians.
No, it's against Putin.
We're not against rap.
Well, that's just
We're
the
not
thing.
against
Yes,
rappers.
it's not the people as a whole. It's the people who are making
The whole.
The decision.
The decisions. Yes.
Well, I mean, you look, and for the first several days, and maybe still in Russia, they're protesting this, and Putin's having those people that are protesting thrown in fucking jail because he's a douchebag.
But he's being his leader that he thinks he needs to be.
No, he's just searching for his own.
He basically wants to recreate Nazi Germany on a larger scale.
Yeah. I mean, he wants it to be, mind you, he's telling everybody that's, fighting that they're fighting the Nazis in Ukraine. No, they're not. And again, it's just because he's a douche. But so
last I knew, there were no like hate crimes happening in Ukraine.
No, that's happening in Russia because Putin's a hater. So of course the West is, and when we talk about the West, we talk about the EU and the United States and our allies.
NATO and
are trying. They're basically trying to cripple Russian economy with these sanctions that they put on, and they're hoping that this costs Russia upwards of $1 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
And Russia is a very poor country.
Yeah,
surprising.
I mean, the people. Well, it's not surprising. The people have no money. The rich people that give Putin money have money.
Right.
And then the parliament has money, but
we got to look at it from this perspective. I mean, Russia is an absolutely huge area.
Yes.
And there's probably Moscow, St. Petersburg, and like a handful of other areas that are well off. And then you get anywhere beyond that, and you're dealing with like, Siberia and all those, mountainous areas like, in the Urals and, where the and all those kind of places are.
Well, almost like third world countries.
Yes, they are. There's a reason why, there's only about the only thing they have out there is the Gulag prisons.
Yes. Well, and honestly, when you look at some of this, Switzerland coming out against you,
That's pretty bad.
is a
What's
big deal because they don't
Switzerland's
do
been,
anything.
they've been what 200 years of being neutral.
Yeah, neutral about everything, literally
Everything.
everything, including the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Just neutral. Swiss, what do you think? I don't really think anything. I'm good over here.
They were just happy.
Yeah,
The-
we're gonna eat some cheese and have a good time.
We'll happily keep your money where we are.
Correct.
Where we are,
Let me say.
and make lots of money off of your money.
Well, that was it. Like, I'm pretty positive that they were in the FIFA, Switzerland.
Oh, I'm sure.
Czech Republic and Poland.
Mhm.
And yeah, like to make an announcement like that, like as you said. Well, and the problem is I think Switzerland came out because Putin said, "Hey, if you make a fucking attempt to go there, you're done."
Yeah.
But even with you talk about Czech Republic, you talk about Poland. They were all part of the Eastern Bloc during the Cold War.
Correct.
But really, outside of kind of what's now Russia, every other part of the Eastern Bloc was treated like crap. I mean,
Mhm.
everything that was part of USSR was,
Mhm.
well off, but Poland was just kind of a puppet, Czechoslovakia and all them were just like little puppets for them.
The best way you can look at it is the differences between West Berlin and East Berlin.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, sigting here, Mike and I understand that significance.
Yes.
Nick was,
I don't understand this.
Nick was a
significance,
baby.
but I've learned it. Right.
so
Like Mr. Gorbachev, tear down your
Correct.
wall.
there was a wall literally, and
A literal wall,
our
Literal
our
wall.
conservative friends want walls, but
which is hilarious to me,
yeah,
right? Like
it really is.
pig, and that's the thing that just bugs me is like people don't understand. They never think far enough back to like go, hey, yeah, this isn't where it should be.
If you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it.
But again, our country was built on basically saying, your country's treating you like crap. Come here.
Correct.
Built on that exact thing.
Yes.
And we've got people who are like, nope, your country's treating you like crap. Stay there. We don't want you.
Well, and here's the other problem we have with that. We built it on that while we were killing the people that were here.
Well, that's true. Yes.
You were here already. We're going to kill you. Everybody that's not here getting persecuted, come on over. Unless you're black. Then you just get to come over. We'll own your ass and you can work for us for nothing. So, I mean, when we're looking at some of this, both major Russian banks were cut off.
Yes.
They cannot move money around. They cannot sell their rubles for dollars.
Mhm.
Ruble, of course, fell, what did I say, 30% in the first day?
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I think its high was 20 and it's down to $1.34. David, do me a favor, give me the stock label
for
SR. I think it's SR something.
right now,
Jeez, Louise, is it that?
1 ruble equals 0.0097 United States dollars.
Wow.
So it's not even a penny.
It's a less than a
10th
fraction less than a penny.
9,000.
On February 3rd, it was 1.3 pennies.
Right.
So ruble's never really been
It's never been a lot,
okay.
but it's way less now.
Yeah.
So if you want $1, 105.01 rubles is $1.
Jeez.
And of course, this type of stuff is going to cripple Russian economy.
Well, and that's so there's two ways to kill
Mhm.
a country. Like,
Yep.
One,
Fast and slow.
you dry them out, right,
Mhm.
completely, or two, you give them a huge influx of money, right? Like you fly over planes, you drop over money, and
Yep.
their money's fucking worthless. I mean, we're talking millions, but like when you already have a poor country like this, again, you either drop so much or you literally just dry them out and they have nothing they can do. The problem is Russia still has backing from other things, right? So
They do, but even the EU is stepping up things by banning the sale of airplanes and airplane parts and other equipment. And
international flights.
yeah, there's no fly zones over certain countries, so Russian aircraft can't fly over those countries. And
Yeah,
again,
the United States isn't allowing it at this point.
they're not. But again, they keep going, well, why aren't we doing more? What is the option here for the United States? So if they say, if you fly out of Russian airspace, we're just going to shoot you down.
Yep.
What happens then?
We start World War III.
We start World War III.
I think there's a chance we could end up as part of this war, but it's got to be like when the UN or NATO basically says we need to send troops. So it can't be like what George W. Bush did and basically said, I think there are weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. I'm going to send troops there to prove that. You've got to wait until basically it becomes an internationally supported effort.
So I'm one of these guys that I wanted to know. Go ahead, Nick.
So the Russian bank, right? So when I was telling you it was down to $1.30, it's down to 90 US cents, right? Like,
Yeah.
So that's the 1 day, it's down to 90. The 5 day, it was at $4 and right before the war, $4.43. The 1 month mark, it was at 15.
Yeah.
The 6 month mark, it literally peaked $23, right? So I mean, like, it's just insane.
Yeah. So it's lost
All of it.
all of its value.
Like, yeah.
So
This is basically what was happening to Germany right before
correct.
the Nazis took over.
Well, and Germany's rebounded extremely.
I'm not. This is
Yeah,
just
but we're
before
talking
World
like,
War II.
yeah, we're talking like 1936.
No, we're talking like 1920s.
20s, yeah.
Well, right after the First World War, obviously they were in
Yes,
deep
all
shit.
the sanctions that they put on
Correct.
because they were basically like, we're going to give you no aid. You're
but
going to.
they didn't start recovering until the start, really, of World War II, when Hitler basically said, "Hey, we're taking everything."
No, but even World War II in terms of
Yeah.
European World War II. It's
Mhm.
not like our involvement in World
So-
War II.
I want to give a quick shout out to Elon Musk
Okay,
giving Ukraine internet access after
Hey,
Russia.
so that is a good thing.
so
So-
you guys talk about billionaires not doing great things. There you go.
But Elon Musk is more apt to do things than
Oh God, yes.
Jeff Bezos is.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, for the most part.
know if Bezos
You know,
owns
if his sales to like Ukraine or Russia were to cause like a major hit in his
Portfolio.
portfolio, that he might do something.
True.
But
So I'm one of those guys that I'm fascinated with what went on during World War II before we entered it.
Mhm.
So, like, I know the struggle Roosevelt had with Churchill and how Stalin played into that. Of course, we had Germany that decided they were going to fight on two fronts. They were going to attack Germany. They were going to attack England. They'd already taken over France and
Russia and
Poland.
England, not
and-
England, not Germany and England.
sorry, Russia and England. And for a long time, Churchill kept asking, when is the United States going to get involved? What the hell has to happen for them to care?
Getting
And-
attacked.
Well, and Roosevelt wanted to do things. He wanted to help. He knew that without American intervention, Germany was going to roll over Europe and probably the Soviet Union.
Sure.
But there was no support here to go to war
Mhm.
until Pearl Harbor.
Yep.
And once we were attacked, Roosevelt had that in. He could sit there and say, listen, we were attacked. We're going to war.
Yep.
And everybody said, yeah, absolutely we are. Fuck this.
Half the world, yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
like, well, and I mean, again, amongst the, and it made out of it yesterday. I just watched the like 50 most recent TikToks you shared with me yesterday.
I'd share a lot of TikToks.
I go to
It was
bed.
somebody basically saying how, after 9/11, when we went to war in, Afghanistan and everything, there were still, they said cancel culture isn't a new thing. People were being canceled because they were going against that. But again, that was a lot more justifiable. But again, it's because we were attacked.
Yes.
And when you as a person or whatever are attacked, you need to retaliate. I mean, yeah, you can be a pacifist and say, okay, whatever, be the good Christian who turns the other cheek or whatever, but That's just weak.
Well, and if you don't, like, you just get attacked, right?
Mhm.
I mean, there's a bully aspect of things, and you know, I don't know when all these other countries will step in, right? Like
Mhm.
they should, they need to. But again, that's opinion, and my opinion doesn't mean anything.
So we were talking about this a second ago. I love this graph I just pulled up.
Yeah.
In 2018, 60 rubles to the US dollar.
Yeah,
And now it's what, 0.009?
009. Yes.
Yeah.
So, I guess I want to talk and give my opinion, and maybe it's just because I have a little bit more money than some people.
Okay.
Gas prices have jumped up.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. 50.
And why is that?
Cents. Because we used to get money for, or
We used to get
oil from
Russia.
Russia, and we
Yeah.
don't right now.
Right.
So we used our reserves, and we're still getting oil. We still have gas. We still have things going.
Well, and they're releasing more reserves.
Of course, right?
Mhm.
Like, what is it? It's something like we have 500 billion gallons of oil reserved,
Mhm.
and we're getting, we're giving 30 million, which is nothing, right? Like, but so to watch how deflated Russia's getting with their money, like this is what I tell everybody, like, because we talk about minimum wage, we talk about these types of things,
Yeah.
and what it takes to make this happen. It literally takes a world to crumble your ass. Like you can crumble the US if you stop doing these things, if you stop taking a $2 an hour job, if you stop taking a $10 an hour, a $15 an hour job, right? Like
Mhm.
but it takes everybody.
Yeah.
So we literally just, you, and it's other countries are like, yeah, I will gladly pay an extra. So it's 50 cents, $5, right?
Yeah.
Which, yes, it adds up. Oh, I have a big ass truck. Congrats. It's $10, right? Every week, dude, I will pay an extra $10.
I will totally pay it.
To watch Russia literally just go,
Mhm.
"Duh, shit," right? Like,
Well, and part of it is we get a lot of these people that are like, well, open that pipeline back up, the Keystone pipeline. That's not our fucking pipeline. That's not our fucking oil. That's Canadian
that
oil.
we're bringing in.
And we basically said, no, you're not drilling in this precious land anymore for this fucking oil. But they keep going back to that. They're like, well, Biden shut down the Keystone pipeline. Yeah, that wasn't for us anyways. That didn't have shit to do with us.
Mhm.
He said, no, you don't get that anymore. Sorry.
I remember going camping one time as a kid. I think we were up in the UP. It was with scouts.
Yep.
And we happened to be, and again, it wasn't the keys, it wasn't any of those pipelines, but it was one of the pipelines that probably pulls from that area, certain parts of Ontario and stuff. And you put your hand up against that pipeline, that's really warm if you're camping in the winter, because that's like, basically almost like room temperature. And if it's like 20 degrees out and you're touching that pipeline at like even room temperature, that feels like heaven.
Oh yeah, and
Not that that's anything to do with it. It was just kind of a thought on pipelines and everything.
and but you have it. I mean, you have, like, there's so many more pipelines and people have no idea. But one gets shut down on Native American land, and these people fucking lose their shit. Shut the fuck up. Learn your goddamn life. Like,
That's the problem.
oh,
is,
but jobs. It costs jobs. You know what these people, like, I go back to being the asshole. We
Yep.
shouldn't have to move, dude. Honestly, there's so many other locations you can go to, and they'll give you all the money to go do it.
well,
right?
we go back to I did my research.
Yeah.
Where did you do that fucking research? Because I mean, Google is free, but you still have to have some kind of intelligence to dissect what you fucking read on Google.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't mean that you got to it and it's correct. I can get on Google right now and it can go, hey, the Cubs are going to win the 2022 World Series.
And I'll get on and go, why will the Cubs lose 2020
Yeah.
World Series?
I
right?
mean,
Like,
anybody can have a fucking opinion and throw it up. So we're sitting here the other day. We're talking to Steve, right?
yeah,
And we're talking about the old days of the internet.
yeah.
And Mike sends me a message. It says, hey, I wonder if our lists are still up.
I think we actually talked about it on our podcast last week.
We might have talked about it on the podcast. And I said, I'm sure they are. So
We said, yeah, nothing on the internet ever goes away.
yeah, it's always forever. So Mike and I we're watching TV one day in 1996.
Yep.
I'm in Illinois and I'm on the phone with him like I often was.
Yeah. And
And-
I was probably in.
I think we were watching Friends
Could be.
Pivot.
and
No, just Jennifer
They-
Aniston being hot.
it was literally, it was always cold in that room.
It was
Anyways,
too.
it
Like,
was.
sweat, like, oh my gosh.
Anyway, so somehow we got on the list of 10
Oh,
people.
no, because it was their thing of who would be on their list of somebody
Yes.
they could have a intercourse with if they were.
If they, yeah,
Their
if
free
they were-
pass,
yeah, their free
basically.
pass. So Mike and
And
I,
I think what Ross's was, he initially thought Isabella Rossellini, and then he changed it to somebody else. Then he actually met Isabella Rossellini.
Yeah. It's,
mind you, back then, Isabella Rossellina,
Oh, hot.
very, very good looking. Wasn't she the daughter of Ingrid Bergman? Was it Ingrid Bergman? She was somebody's fucking
She was
daughter.
somebody. Yeah.
I'll look it up.
mm,
But
I think
anyway,
she is, because yeah, but then like the woman from SVU is Jade Mansfield's daughter.
yes, Mariska Hargitay.
Yep.
So Mike and I decided we were going to come up with our 10 most desirable women list.
Oh, I already have that.
And I made a website in 1996 on AOL.
Yep.
On AOL.
On AOL, when it costs like $5 an hour to use fucking AOL.
You
We
had to
would
put-
spend
you
a
had to
lot
put
of money
the
on
CD in there?
AOL.
I did.
You
What?
had to put the CD in to get it to download.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we made that, and Mikey and I had the first lists.
Because we kind of took David Letterman's top 10 list and
Yes.
kind of morphed them into one thing.
Do you have your list?
I honestly,
He has both of our lists.
I have all three of ours. Honestly, I'm looking.
And those changed every once in a while.
They changed honestly a lot. So here is me, Walling, and Benson's list. You want to take a look at them?
Yeah, of course.
They are still out there.
The first one. The first one is just great. Yours.
Well, yeah. I named a cat after her.
Oh gosh.
Mike called her stripper cat.
Really? And you wrote why.
Oh yeah,
This
we
is my
had
favorite.
reasons. We
Yes.
had reasons on why we picked those women's. As you notice, I have a lot of Latin women on there.
He does.
Actually-
He was always big on the Latin
No,
women.
actually, it says Selma Hayek. I love those Latinos.
I do.
I thought it was
it
hilarious.
was with that one, and it was
Walling with the
Jennifer
Asian
Lopez.
woman.
Wallen with the Asians, but like your other Latin was Daisy Fuentes,
No, it was Stacy Sanchez.
Daisy Sanchez.
I loved Stacy Sanchez.
That's right.
I have to give the shout out to this one. I do. Like the first one I read, it's David's, right? It just says Abigail from
Yeah.
from Deja Vu. Yep. It's just-
Stripper cat.
Mike, was she
might
not
see her
awesome?
again.
She was awesome.
She was awesome.
The way I'm
She was
forgetting.
lesbian.
She was a lesbian.
Really?
She was.
No, sorry.
One
guys.
time, we actually paid for her and her
From
girlfriend to
Schaumburg's.
give each other dances.
Yes, we did. We were stupid.
Do you have a photo of Sandra from Schaumburg Hooters?
I do.
I forgot about her.
She was-
really hot.
She
too.
was really hot.
Female singer. That's just what it is. You don't even know the chick's name.
I don't, but
What is
she
that?
made me watch the Latin music channel for like 4 hours.
Oh,
The Gram.
I remember Mike took Shania Twain off his list
Oh, yeah.
because he heard she had AIDS. Not
oh,
this
Mikey,
Mike,
yeah, Mikey.
but
Yeah.
Walling.
She's on my list.
Totally.
Hold
She
on.
was hot.
Let's.
Jessica also loves
But just
Latinos.
if-
I did
if
not
I-
know that.
If I just,
Yeah.
if I
what's
did,
his face was?
Yeah.
Conor McGregor.
Right.
Everybody to me is.
Mike, what did you just say?
I said I'd have her on my list if I just didn't have to listen to her music. Shania Twain.
I mean, they're way worse than her.
well, yeah, they're up.
back to the list after short hiatus for Mike or for Mikey. That's
Yeah, that was
hilarious.
Shania Twain.
So let's see here. They're not in any order, right? But Jennifer Aniston is definitely on there.
Oh my god.
Reba, Shania Twain. I mean, gosh.
Here, let me I
Amy-
can get
Amy
you
Adams.
everybody's list that we had, mind you.
Well,
Yes, we had a lot of like the Flaming Homo had a list,
my like top seven.
The Flaming Homo did have a list.
My top seven are
which we
redheaded females.
okay. We need to add something that does not mean we are homophobic.
No, we like We like homosexuals.
This was just a guy that we feel like was secretly in love with me because he would be jilted whenever I would go hang out with other
he
people.
was totally in love with you, and he spent a lot of time in the actual closet. Like,
What's his face? Yes, Nick. Not even worth a name. Yeah, I think
true
it was
story.
Tito Alvarez, or I always call everybody. Gosh, what do I call everybody? I don't even know anymore. It's been Johnny Manziel. No, not Johnny Manziel.
Here you
What's-
go.
what's-
Here's the page.
What's the Prey guy?
Oh, Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow. Yeah, I always call everybody Tim Tebow. Like Courtney will introduce me to somebody else's like boyfriend. I'm like, hey, what's up, Tim Tebow? And they're like, what? My name's John. And I was like, yeah, exactly, Tim Tebow. It's cool. Like the whole night, hey Tim, and like they'll answer by the end of the night because I'm like, you're just a douche. I don't like you.
So did you look at one of those lists? It was the guy whose girlfriend I ended up dating.
No.
Oh,
And we
Bishop.
put on like old women on his list.
B. Arthur.
Graduate.
14-inch graduate, yeah. 14-inch graduate had a list.
When you sent me that thing, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about the 14-inch graduate.
We were gonna
Which
make
was-
t-shirts for him.
It was when I graduated from college, which again was 96. Our friend Barry Byther, as part of my gift, bought me. It's one of those, like, if you ever think of like those old Halloween or Christmas like trees or the pumpkins that would
the paper that comes around.
paper that would come out. So it's basically the graduation gown would come out, and it was 14 inches tall. We just liked it because I mean it was literally advertised as the 14-inch graduate.
It was actually advertised as the 13-inch graduate. We measured it. It was 14 inches, and we changed it so that we couldn't get copyright
That's true.
infringement.
But it has kind of a little bit of a innuendo to it,
In your end.
Here you go. You're
as
back.
opposed at
There you go.
IQ with the innuendos.
Oh my God,
Is there
he was
No-
such a
nose job,
dumbass.
Jeez. All right, I'm done with this.
Did he get a nose job? I think he did.
Dude.
The guy whose girlfriend I ended up dating.
Oh,
Yeah, you want to hear his list?
sure.
Roseanne Barr,
Yeah.
Mimi from Duke Carey,
Yeah.
Rosie, Carney Wilson, Mama Cass.
They're not necessarily old women, just
Wait, who is this
unattractive
guy?
women.
Who is this guy?
Chicks with dicks, phone sex, and women.
This is my
We
kind
were
of-
horrible people, Mike.
This is my kind of guy.
We were horrible people. Miss Piggy.
What's wrong with that?
Kermit liked Miss Piggy.
Well, she's a puppet for one.
So soft. Do you know?
Okay, by that respect, Jessica Rabbit was a cartoon that
Think
she
that's
was
not
still
my-
freaking
think that's-
okay.
I say, think that's not my
Jessica
like-
Rabbit is pretty fucking hot.
Thank you. Okay, literally. So when my MySpace came out, that was my backdrop. Like, oh, I still have a crush. What's his face? Yes, I say Jessica. Yeah, there you go. No. Back to Russia, quick.
Yeah.
Russia. Russia.
Russia. It's like,
Well,
you
the
know,
Russia.
I hope that Bert Kretzinger stops telling his Russian jokes and
Who?
and the Russian mob.
Who?
Bert,
I don't know, Bert.
the machine.
We need to get the Crimson
You have-
Dynamo out.
You haven't seen the machine?
I have not.
Comedian goes on stage without a shirt and talks about how he robbed his own class.
No idea.
What?
We need to stick the Crimson Dynamo on Putin.
on Putin.
I agree.
Putin.
So, mind you,
Yeah.
because we're talking about economy,
Econ.
Russia's economy is expected to plunge into a deeper recession than the one caused by COVID-19 because of the Western sanctions.
Yeah. And we're not the only one sanctioning him. Just to let
No,
everybody know,
no.
like we're not just being
Many countries in the EU,
many, right? Like
Okay. And
basically
again,
the E EU.
when your traditionally neutral country is sanctioning them.
let's say
Well, here's one of my favorite headlines. Russian people may not be able to withstand economic siege.
oh shit.
Crippling sanctions imposed on Russia for its invasion of Ukraine are already wreaking havoc on the lives of ordinary Russians because they have no money.
Yep.
And their leader doesn't give a fuck.
Nope.
So
Well, they also had no money during communism either.
honestly, they've never had any fucking
No.
money. It's always been the czars or Lenin and Stalin and Gorbachev. And who was the fucking guy after Gorbachev?
I don't remember. I know like there were before them was like Brezhnev and
Yeah,
some
I'm
others.
thinking of P name.
Oh
It
no,
wasn't Putin. It was somebody else. Boris something.
Boris
Everybody's fucking name is Boris.
and Natasha.
not Pasternak. That was like an author or yeah.
So, I look at what's going on, and I figure, hey, is this gonna hurt us, right? And like, yes, it will. We talk about it's only $5-10. Sure, you do that over a month, it's $50. Some people have too tight of a budget. This will make our economy kind of worse, right? Like
It will.
we're not
It will impact more than just Russia.
right. It's not just your car. I mean, that's the thing that people don't understand. It's not just your car that's going up. It's think about like every tanker that's coming across and oil that takes. Like think about say every country has this issue, right? The EU, like every country that's in it. I look at things and just say, hey, what can I do to guarantee that I'm going to get through this, right? Sure, I'm already staying home enough, right? But like, I don't know, my life. Okay, yeah, we went out to Black Rocks, right?
Yeah.
Which I should go tonight. Say, buy one get one, right? Like I'm finding, and it's weird because after COVID, God, dude, can you remember anybody running happy hour? Can you remember anybody doing any specials?
There's not a lot. Like Beer Exchange, where I go, still does their happy hour, which from basically 4 to 6 is during the week. So, and now it's only Thursday, Friday that they're open. They've no longer open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, mostly due to staff shortages at this point. But it's half off their cans and then half off their just like appetizer plates,
Sure.
which is still, I mean, but that's again,
really good.
Yeah.
But like,
Oh yeah, I go there and I'll get like, like I said, I think they didn't add Mother Schmuckers yet. They've got None of Your Business. They've got Year Round Brown. They've got a couple other Grand Armory things. I think they've got their the Wheeze and the Juice and everything.
sure.
Yeah, they're like $2.53 for a can instead of 5 or 6, and then like I said, I could get a serving of fried pickles for like $4 instead of $8, and
right, which is great. Like but
Where are we going?
Beer
we're
Exchange.
going to Beer
Oh,
Exchange,
yeah.
It can only be Thursday and Friday during happy hour.
which is fine. We'll go on a Thursday. That way, it's a little less crowded, and we'll do our podcast.
Yeah, they can still get pretty. No, that's where they said Sunday would be a better day for the podcast.
Sure. And so, but we were talking about, the economy kind of was scared and it went to crap, COVID, right? So like,
Yeah.
you're not finding these bars running the specials. You're not finding, buy one, get ones. You're not finding the
Well, you're even
deals.
seeing like places that have traditionally done well going out of business
Yes.
because
Yeah.
of it, because they just can't recover.
And now we're coming back. We're starting to get a little
We're
bit.
starting to come back.
Our economy started, and people are like, oh, inflation. It's like, okay, now we have to beat this inflation aspect. So, and the only way to beat it is to raise prices. And people like,
No.
not on goods,
No.
right?
Well-
We need to
well, and-
raise prices of interest rates, right? Like, and the problem is,
Or like anything that would be a larger purchase where you would have to either take out a loan or whatever. Yes, you should
Interest
be
rates need to go
you
up.
shouldn't be raising the price of groceries. You shouldn't be raising
Costs
the
should be going down.
Yes.
You want to fight inflation. Those are the best 2 ways to do it. So instead
I mean-
of a 2.75 interest rate on your mortgage,
uh-huh.
it should probably be 3.75, 4%, maybe
Mhm.
4.5.
Yep.
And honestly, these companies gave a rat's fucking ass about anyone. Instead of charging, I'll use Nick's example of fucking McDonald's.
Sucks.
McDoubles are up to like $2.39 for a fucking McDouble.
They used to be $1.50.
They used to be a
Used to be
fucking
$1.
dollar.
Oh yes.
It was $1.
And I'm gonna
for-
tell you right now, that shit ain't fucking worth more than $1.
It was a
Well, but
dollar for a double cheeseburger,
but-
and then it became a McDouble.
But they've jumped that. So you said $3.50 now.
250.
$2.50. So 150% increase in the cost of a McDouble.
Yeah.
Whereas like their wages to their employees have increased
Oh,
150%.
Not 150%, Nick.
It's kind of 100 because what?
Employees.
100 what? They were making $12 an hour before. Now they're paying 14 to 15.
I think when I worked at McDonald's, I was making less than
How many years ago?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh,
Yes.
years.
When
I'm
he-
talking 2
when
years
he and
ago.
I were working at Wendy's, we were making like $3.50 an hour.
See, there
I
you
started
go.
at 425,
There you go. Right. So
and I got a huge raise the first time
To 450.
to 430.
which was the new
Which a
minimum
nickel
wage.
on that is actually a pretty good percentage.
Yeah, it's not a bad percentage. It was way better than the percentage I got on my first raise of my current job, which was 7 1/3 cents.
Oh jeez. Yeah, I'd be a little.
But I mean, but yeah, even like you said, I remember this could have only been it's been since my divorce. So we're still looking at less than like 6 or 7 years. I could go to McDonald's like when I would not be on my way when I lived with my parents for that short period of time. On my way home from work or whatever I was doing after, like maybe I went to see my kids after, they got out of school. And I'd hit McDonald's and I could get a McDouble for like $1.50.
Yeah.
So in 7 years, we've basically done 150% increase. And that period of time, that $7.25 minimum wage has not raised that.
No,
much.
it's still the fucking same. So one of the comments we have on our Twitch from one of my favorite people is 2 McDoubles and a large Coke was $3.18 when I was in high school. So I'm going to age myself here.
But
Jessica,
just 10 years ago,
she graduated in 2013, so it was 9 years ago.
that was pretty close.
When I was in high school, I could go to Hot Now with
A
$1.30. I could buy a hamburger.
Two.
No, I could buy hamburger, a fry, and a drink for $1.30.
39 cents each.
That was expensive because like the family pack came with.
Oh my God, the family
10
pack was the best.
burgers,
10 burgers, 5 fries, 5
5
drinks,
drinks.
and it was like $8.
And so it was less than 10. I know that for a fact.
It was like $8.
because I remember
We would order that and ask for the rest of the cow as a joke.
We would.
that's how my grandparents like would feed us. Like that was a special day.
One of the so
But
2012.
everything does that. I mean, even Taco Bell, like they're 10 packs. You get a 10 pack of tacos.
It's like $15.
12 pack, but it,
Or
yeah,
12
they're
pack, but
15
still.
It's
bucks.
down to 10 now. 10 pack.
But I'm just saying, but,
Is it?
Yeah.
but each taco is like $1.60 itself.
Right, but
Yeah.
I can go out and get a
But
burrito.
you buy
for
in
$1.
bulk, and they will give you a discount.
Oh my God, Jessica, you're old.
Yeah.
It's her 10-year reunion.
I said,
Oh my God, she did graduate in 12 because Jenny graduated in 13. Holy shit, she's been out 10 years. My good guess.
So that puts you 2012 to hey, you were at least alive when I started my job where I work now.
Most of us were alive when you
Well, her-
started your job.
No. So you don't when I hit 15 years, so I'm
Yeah.
almost at 25. I'll hit
Yes.
25 in September. When I hit 15, they got Qdoba, catering.
Okay.
It's kind of like a little
For
party
you.
for me. Because it was like the first person in our group I'm the only one. I am the only one anywhere. The person closest to me in the department I work in is at like just over 10.
Can I get a job? I'll stay for 25 years.
Okay, well, but so they did
I
that. So
love Qdoba.
so it just kind of is a fun thing. They said, okay, hey, where was everybody when? And everybody was
Yeah.
like, oh, I was, high school, college, blah 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 blah. No big deal.
Yeah.
So at 20, the only person who was left from that initial group sent out an email blast to everybody in our department. Who's like, where were you? Closest I had there was one girl who was working as kind of like an intern. She was like maybe a year and a half. I'm getting 25 in September. I will now have people who will basically say, I was not bored yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait for this. It's gonna be great.
I was not bored
I'll,
yet.
I'll drink with you. That
Not
day.
only
You
that,
let
they
me
might be
know.
able to say, my parents hadn't met yet.
Oh my god.
So funny story. I know you'll appreciate this. I'm at work. I haven't been there 2 years yet. Okay. So this is
Wait,
before.
time out.
Yeah.
Her said her grandma used to take her to Hot and Out. Your grandma's hot. She loves me. Just to let you know.
Which
She turns
grandma?
28
Both
on
of them?
Sunday.
Yeah.
Both of her grandmas love me. I'm telling you.
Her grandmas are pretty awesome.
Yeah. they're
Anyways, so I'm at my job. I haven't been there 2 years yet. So it's before middle of 2004.
Mhm.
And I'm talking to one of my coworkers and I'm like, yeah, I saw Journey and Frampton opened for them. And she goes, oh my God, that must have been a great concert. What was that, like 1979? And I went,
like last
I was
week.
2 years old in 1979. She goes, "Oh my God, I'm so fucking old." And now I'm that old guy.
Oh God.
Mind you, that concert would have been like 2000,
Yeah.
maybe 2000.
Well, still,
it was probably
if you-
2001.
You're getting close then to 20 years.
20 years this year. I've been there 20 fucking years.
Yeah, I've been around for that long.
I don't think you would I don't think you would dislike the work that my group does, but
I would love it. For Free Qdoba? You'd be surprised what I do.
They had free Qdoba once. I got fucking donuts once on my anniversary.
but we're
Factual statement.
they're doing
Make sure you tell your grandmas that, Jess.
that's the word I'm looking for. Like basically just instead of having like 3 like levels of each position, they're trying to increase to have little more granular to give people like more of a career path.
Promotion, sure.
So we're in the process of that. And so of course then they're also like, okay, part of your yearly goals is a career path. And like I'm talking to my boss, actually it's my current boss who's about to be my ex-boss because they're moving around a little bit. I'm actually going to go back to the boss I had before this current boss, which isn't fine. I like all my bosses.
Sorry about that.
But it's just one of those things. They want to just kind of move around, make sure that
Okay.
no one person has too many people that report to them.
How are you not CEO?
I don't want to be
You've been there
CEO.
that long.
Honestly, at the companies we're at, who the fuck wants to be a boss?
Mhm.
Me.
That shit sucks.
Me.
Fuck that.
So,
I don't want to be a boss at my company.
But like we're talking about, the fact that they want to do what is your career goals? I said, and like a lot of the people I work with are like sub or just around, probably under 35. But they've still got, 15, 20 years in their career,
2025.
2025 in
Yeah.
their career. Yeah.
don't give everybody
Yeah.
credit.
Okay,
Not
but still-
everybody's
okay,
us.
I
yes,
know how to
but-
invest.
But like I basically said, I looked at like how much longer I have to pay child support, and then kind of once I'm done paying child support, just throwing money hand over fist into my retirement
Yeah.
accounts. And basically, like at this point, I'm like, I would like to retire by the time I'm 60, which basically gives
Yeah.
me 12 years.
Yeah.
So my thought isn't what do I need? What do I want to do for the rest of my career? It's what do I want to do until I retire?
Oh, I
And what can I position myself to do to be happy for the next 12 years until I retire?
Jessica, you need to text me. I want to know what that's about.
Love to have her on.
I just
Oh,
got
we
out
would
of a
totally have you
leadership
on.
Position. It sucked.
By the way, Jessica, we would totally have you on because I know you do like to
It
drink.
surprises me about her because I always thought she'd be a leader.
Oh, she's totally a leader, but leadership there is way different than some other places. Way different.
Well, and the different, like she's in medical, right? Like,
Yeah.
My wife's in medical, and honestly, I could not do with leadership out of the medical field. because they are the biggest morons I've ever met.
No, it's basically,
And it's funny.
and I would
because-
say in medical, it really boils down to people who have like the degree to be in there, but don't actually have the ability to do the job.
one of my they won't ever listen to this, but like one of my best friends is a doctor, right? Like,
Yeah.
And when it comes to certain things, like he's a fucking moron, right? Like,
Well, okay.
and I look at it and just go, and he looks at me and he's like, God, Nick, you're the stupidest person I've ever met,
Okay.
right? And it's funny because we think completely different, right? Like
Yeah.
he is book smart and I am
And
street
that's very
smart,
common.
right?
And that's very, like, I'm camping over this past weekend with the scouts.
Yeah.
I have people telling me the kind of things my son Max is doing, who's 13. Very, very book smart kid. But
Yeah.
some of the things they were telling me he was doing, I'm like, yeah, that's my son. Very, very book smart. Not always really thinking about what he's doing before he does it.
I get it. What'd you do, David?
I don't know. That was weird. I tried to send a message to Jessica and it all went out.
She got a new job, senior project specialist.
She did. Congrats, Jess. I want to get into this before we end this. We have not talked about the EU or the
US.
effect on their economy or the United States. So,
We did a little bit while you were going to the bathroom.
all
We'll
right.
just admit you were going downstairs to use the bathroom.
I was. We have a bathroom downstairs. I used it.
Nick and I were talking. It is going to affect our economy. It's going to affect their economy.
It absolutely is. We're going to pay more for certain things. So
We are.
here's something that I never expected because I know Nick is going to love this. So we need to order 2 new helmets
Timmy got a new helmet.
because everybody on our team basically gets their own helmet now because of COVID.
Rich people.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got money out there. So Chris calls and he goes, I need 2 white helmets. This is what I need. And they go, well, I'm going to do my best, but the foam for the helmets
Is made in Russia.
comes from Ukraine.
Oh, geez.
So I don't know how long that's going to take to get a helmet.
We could. I mean, we buy our Muppet heads from Peru,
Peru, yes,
but that doesn't mean that their supplies aren't coming from elsewhere. We could,
correct.
if we wanted to get like Brian who wants to get his
Constantine and Swedish Chef.
Swedish Chef, he could be waiting for a while. And I want to get my animals so I could just go up to Brian and go, bad frog.
I cannot wait for Swedish Chef to be around. Who's Brian? Is he going to be there on
Brian.
Saturday?
I don't know.
Because we're going to be best friends.
He might.
I can't remember if any of the merch were going to be there.
I assume Mercs will be there, but I don't know. So yeah, things that you wouldn't expect all of a sudden might be hard to come by.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, when I worked at Gentex, like there was a short. So I don't know how it happened, right? But all of a sudden there was a shortage in plastic. The number 2 biggest plastic supplier in the world shut down. They
Mhm.
just closed shop. They said, "No, fuck it, we're not doing it anymore."
In my
We're
work,
the
there's a
number
lot
2
of
biggest
stuff.
supplier.
In my work, there's a lot of stuff that's back ordered or not able to be gotten anymore
Really?
because either they're coming from like China or other countries that are still very, very shut down, or there's so much need for it.
Yep.
Right now, you just can't get it.
Well, and again, we brought up a good point earlier. So we may pay more for gas. We may pay more for natural gas. Are we okay taking that on? I know I'm okay.
I'm okay, but there are a lot of people who aren't going to be okay.
You're absolutely
And
right.
I'm done. So we were talking. I was talking about this with my HVAC guy, right?
Yeah.
Like last year at this time, I was paying $859 for 8 units to get rented or to get heated, right? I just got my bill. It's $1,089. So
Yeah.
I went up $300, right? Like, did I pass that on to my tenants yet? Not yet. Will I? I'm gonna have to. right?
Eventually,
You're
Like,
gonna have to.
like because guess what? You know what else just happened to me? Oh man, my taxes went up $14,000. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. I only get 7% of that take a hit, but like my taxes have gone up every year. And so like I'm sitting here just going, okay, when I used to lose $2, I raised you 25 a piece. I made $80 on the whole transaction. Oh, one tenant called and their faucet went out. Like, so you have to understand that it has to go back, right? Like I can't afford to be the person to just sit here and front it for you. So
Well, and that's perfectly fine, especially you. I mean, you in general, you're still pretty much, you consider yourself a small business. You're not a big business in any way, shape, or form.
correct.
And so you're still willing to basically say, you won't sit there and say, okay, oh, all of a sudden I'm paying, basically per unit I own 20 more out of pocket per month than I normally do. You would say, okay, I might raise you $25 just so I can make a little bit of profit off it. You're going to sit there and say, oh, I want to basically charge you $150 more, even though it's only costing me another $20 out of pocket.
Right.
Because deep down inside, you care about people. But unfortunately, a lot of the big businesses, that's what they're doing. They're basically saying, hey, things are costing us a little more out of pocket than it used to be. So what we're going to use is an excuse to basically really ream you up the ass and give us a little bit,
Oh yeah. We'll have to build that.
It takes a lot to give, your top, 5 executives multi-million-dollar bonuses.
Oh yeah. And they have to build that reserve now because they don't know when the next thing's gonna happen. So
we're an hour and a half into podcast here. Do we have any final thoughts?
like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family.
Mike, what'd you think about your drinks down there? Because I don't know if you're both are sticking around, but I think we should go on TikTok live for a little bit.
With it only not even being 8 o'clock, I think we should go on TikTok for a while.
I agree. Mike,
The old mill beer was good, and like I said, I'd had the other one before. It was just one of my remaining couple that I had in the fridge. But yeah, the old mill's always good. And again,
I do
supporting
enjoy
local.
I do enjoy a Milli Vanilli Milli Vanilli Porter. I can't say that fast.
It's supporting local. I like supporting local. I like supporting small. And, if there's one thing that Old Bell equals, it's, local.
Small and local. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick, all your New Glarus there.
Oh,
I know you loved them.
Let's say my fat squirrel. Yeah, it was good. My spotted cow. It's been a while since I drank a beer, so I really enjoyed like that because
That's a good one. I had to look at that one.
That was my
Farmhouse
first one.
sales. I like farmhouse sales. And that one sounds good. The nut brown.
Yeah.
And that was incredible. Well, the thing was,
That Wisconsin Belgian red is very good.
What I never realized about it, like until I read it, is I'm like, I just figured it was kind of like any other red, where it's just kind of, how, but it's the fact that they throw cherry in it. Oh my God, that was so good. I can understand why that's like one of your top three.
It's just, oh my, like I remember it was one of the first podcasts that we did. I stopped the podcast to talk about
because
that
it was so good.
Like I was like, no, I think you were on it. Like for
I
the
don't know
first
if I
time.
was on that. Well, I might have been on it, but I was on it remotely.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Well,
were.
it was remote anyway.
Yeah.
I think that was when.
Yeah,
I
we
was-
were
I
all
was in
remote.
I was
Yeah.
in my garage and I
Yeah.
like I will remember that day for my first sip of this beer and like I literally was like, nope, we got to
Yep.
talk about this. And I was like,
Yep.
wow, what a great beer. And dude's like, and then I give it to him. He's like, holy crap, it's a good, just as much like.
Well, yeah, like I said,
it's a
I
great
just,
beer.
I think the thing is, I'm like, yeah, and I mean, like I said, when I was undereducated in beer, I like Killian's Red.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever tried to dye Killian's red green?
It's not going to work.
Because my mother worked with doctors that tried to do that.
It's not going to work.
It did not.
Wait, you can't turn a green and brown, or you can't turn a red
You can't
and
turn.
green?
You cannot turn an amber or whatever you'd want to call it. Green.
Green, yes.
That's
You can only really turn light lagers green.
Yeah.
It's true.
Shitty like Miller Lite and stuff.
Mhm.
Hey,
So Sweet Baby Jesus was okay. Angry Orchard is Angry Orchard. Most of you probably had it. Grand Armory's Mother Schmuckers, still
Awesome.
one of my favorites. And then of course we love Destel. Their peanut butter
But you
porter,
know what?
very good.
But you know what? Mother Schmuckers is the best
When?
when you're at Grand Armory's actual like brewing thing, and you get it like in the can out of their walk-in fridge, like the day after it was canned.
That is honestly the best. I will agree. So as Nick said, like, subscribe, share. If you're around, we're going to go on TikTok live here. Sick Dogs, if you want to follow us. We will be back with a new episode next Tuesday. We were a day late this week because Nick had stuff. So next Tuesday.
it did. We were out doing a good deed.
You were doing a good
You were
deed.
doing a
Yeah,
good deed,
here.
and there is absolutely nothing wrong with doing a good deed.
So
So if you guys want to talk about anything specific, please let us know. Otherwise, we will see you next week.
see ya.
You've dialed in to Box and Brews. You might hear something you can use, like tips on your cash or tips on the suds. You're gonna want to use the smarts of these stuff, cause they know the brews, and they know the box, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks. So listen up, cause shit's not funny, and save yourself some beer money. Box and Brews.
Bucks and
Box
brews.
and Brews.
Bucks and brews.